In the early hours of May the 13th of 2015, an unnamed man pulled up to a service station near Townsville in Queensland, Australia, in a 1997 Holden Rodeo utility vehicle. A few hours prior, on the night of May the 12th, the man had stolen the car from a business on Ingham Road. Upon reaching the service station window, he tried to smash it with a paving slab, but the effort failed, prompting him to use a sledgehammer. After gaining access through the shattered window, he tied a chain around the ATM inside the station as he prepared to speed away with it in tow. The only problem for the offender was that he had not realized that his chain wasn't attached, and when he attempted to drive off, he left the ATM behind. Detective Senior Sergeant Chris Hicks later told the media, as the suspect had forcefully tugged on the chain to drag it inside the station, the length attached to the Holden snapped from the piece that would have connected it to the cash machine. The burglar thus drove off with nothing but a loose piece of chain dragging behind the vehicle. He returned and attempted to reconnect the two pieces, but gave up when realizing that he'd parked way too far. The bungled attempt was captured in its entirety by cameras inside and outside of the station. Queensland Police posted the footage set to funny music on their YouTube channel, where it earned over 1,500 views. Number 8. Amber Jolly's shoplifter confrontation. In the spring of 2024, a store manager in Santa Monica, California, went viral after furiously confronting a female shoplifter. Amber Jolly stopped the unnamed woman outside Montana Avenue's Gramercy Boutique on April the 12th and began screaming at her to return the jackets she'd stolen. The interaction became physical, with Jolly grabbing the thief's wrist and pushing her. The latter then told Jolly, "Bro, you know what you're doing is illegal," in spite of having just stolen from her. She repeatedly tried to flee, but the store manager, who recorded the confrontation on her phone, pushed her back. The thief remained reticent while insisting, "You're not allowed to touch," prompting a frustrated Jolly to erupt, "Give me back my effing jacket!" Intimidated into compliance, the thief reached into her bag, pulled out a blue jacket, and dropped it on the ground. She then tried to walk away, but Jolly cornered her and forced her to give up a green jacket as well. The manager demanded to look into the woman's bag, at which point the shoplifter told her, "Yeah, well, that's illegal," but ultimately agreed. The shoplifter left the scene, but not before Jolly shoved her, screaming, "Don't effing show your effing face on Montana Avenue again!" When she was interviewed by CBS, Jolly revealed that she'd called the police in the confrontation's aftermath, but was told to contact her insurance company. The store manager explained that she'd felt compelled to act, given the extensive efforts through which the store owner had gone in order to keep the business afloat. Jolly pointed to repeated recent lootings and noted, "I just think it's like the people are trying to get away with it because there's no consequences." Number 7. Incident in Rankin County. Following a sizable uptick in the number of drug overdose deaths in the area of Rankin County, Mississippi, a multi-agency investigation was launched, resulting in the arrest of several youths. In February of 2024, the suspects ranged in ages from their late teens to their early 20s and were determined to be part of a fentanyl distribution ring. Among the group's many bad decisions was to sell the potentially deadly drug to school children in the county. A substantial quantity of fentanyl pills was recovered. Some of the drugs were seized the night before they were allegedly due to be distributed at a local school. 19-year-olds Haley Dunlap and Molly McNally were taken into custody alongside Brooklyn Goss and Aiden Broom, aged 21 and 18 respectively. The youths were the latest in nearly a dozen recent arrests, including minors and adults, confirmed by law enforcement in connection to the operation. All 4 individuals were charged with the sale of fentanyl. Broom and McNally were accused of selling the drugs within 1,500 feet of a school, church, or park and conspiracy to sell or distribute. They and Goss were additionally charged with possession with intent to distribute. Alongside the aforementioned youths, the authorities also announced the arrest of Pedro Martinez Garcia, who was in his late teens but certified as an adult. Garcia was also charged with selling fentanyl, and at the time of the arrest, he was already on bond for previous charges of selling fentanyl, possession of fentanyl with intent to distribute, and possession of methamphetamine. Number 6. Incident in West Midlands. 3 men targeted a homeowner in West Midlands, England, and made off in their Vauxhall Combo on January the 8th of 2024. The thieving trio had gone in equipped with masks to conceal their identities. However, as they were driving away in the stolen van, they decided to remove their face coverings. They revealed their features, unaware that there was a camera inside the vehicle recording their every move. The trio, who were labeled Dumb, Dumber, and Dumbest in the media, eventually abandoned the vehicle. Local police thus came in possession of the onboard footage and a prime piece of evidence to use towards catching the culprits. Number 5. Warning, I do dumb things. In the fall of 2015, Oregon man Rashawn Garrett led deputies from the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office on a chase while driving a stolen car. After speeding through the Portland suburb of Gladstone, 23-year-old Garrett abandoned the vehicle and fled on foot. He tried to hide in some bushes but was tracked down by a K-9 unit named Nero. Garrett was taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of attempt to elude, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and possession of a stolen vehicle. At the time of his arrest, Garrett was pictured wearing an arguably suitable t-shirt that read, "Warning, I do dumb things." The model had already been in the news after being sported by several other criminals in recent months. In April of that year, Florida man David Durham posed for his mugshot, wearing the cautionary t-shirt after he was arrested for stealing from cars. He'd been a suspect in over a dozen burglaries, some of which were caught on video, carried out over the same stretch of beach parking in the southwest Florida city. Durham was charged with grand theft, burglary, and criminal mischief. 63-year-old Texas man Luciano Gutierrez donned a warning, "I do dumb things" t-shirt in a mugshot that marked the upgrade to felony of the latest in a string of repeated DWI offenses. Number 4. Joshua K. Pinney. In June of 2012, a man walked into a Bank of America branch in Des Moines, Washington, wearing what was described as a ridiculous disguise while attempting to commit fraud. Joshua K. Pinney had donned a wig, stick-on facial hair, and a neck brace, as well as bandages on his head and face. He claimed to be from Oregon and visiting Washington on business, adding that he'd recently been in an accident and required a new debit card. Pinney also reportedly asked for a glass of water to alleviate his supposed injuries. The bank manager immediately saw through his poorly constructed ruse and alerted the authorities. When officers arrived at the scene, they pointed to the fact that Pinney didn't look anything like the man in the ID he was trying to pass as his own. The defeated criminal reportedly hung his head and said, "I know." He then admitted that he'd gotten the ID from a friend of his brother's who had stolen it from a car in Tacoma. Pinney blamed the orchestration of the plan on his girlfriend, whom he'd met while on a prison work release the previous year and whom he described as a computer whiz capable of opening bank accounts online. Des Moines police arrested Pinney for identity theft in the second degree, but the outcome of his case remained unclear as he subsequently failed to make his October court appearance. Number 3. Kerry Hammond. In the summer of 2014, a man robbed a Circle K in Belleville, Illinois, with what many internet users deemed to be one of the worst conceivable disguises. The unnamed man was captured on surveillance cameras with his face covered by a clear plastic bag. The CCTV footage was publicly released by Belleville police, with the suspect's face being fully visible and thus offering tipsters a plethora of opportunities to report him. A few years later, 22-year-old Kerry Hammond employed a similarly uninspired disguise while burglarizing a GameStop in St. Mary's, Georgia. Hammond's choice of mask was a clear plastic bag used to package bottled water. In a Facebook post, law enforcement shared surveillance footage from inside the GameStop, with the clip clearly showing Hammond's face as he fled the premises. In the post, the police wrote, "This puts new meaning to the term waterhead," adding, "You can help us catch him once you stop laughing." Hammond was tracked down and arrested a short while later on charges of burglary and criminal damage to property. Today's topic was requested by Kelly's Homemade Kitchen and Sally Clay 1974. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. James Hayes. A series of increasingly uninspired decisions led to the arrest of Pennsylvania man James Hayes in the summer of 2013. CCTV footage showed him entering Moe's Market convenience store in Ambridge with what appeared to be a firearm in hand. Hayes pointed it at the man behind the counter and appeared to be ordering him around. The would-be robber had brought a pellet gun, and as he started threatening the clerk, the latter reached under the counter and brandished a real pistol. He didn't fire it, opting instead to force Hayes out of the store and even give him a kick on the behind on his way out. The clerk reported the incident to local police, after which he reportedly finished his shift. Officials from the Ambridge Police Department praised the clerk's restraint, with Chief James Mann noting that he'd had every justification to shoot Hayes. Upon combing through the surveillance footage, one of the responding officers recognized Hayes as the man who'd recently been to the police station to report a hit and run. The authorities went to his address and knocked on his front door. In the moments that followed, a woman came running out of her home, telling officers that Hayes had broken into her second-floor apartment while trying to evade the police. Cops rushed to the back of the property, where they cornered and arrested Hayes, who reportedly started apologizing while they were handcuffing him. Commenting on the situation, Chief Mann told WTAE, "Mr. Hayes certainly qualifies to be one of the world's dumbest and luckiest to be alive criminals." Number 1. Yafit Ascali. In June of 2013, law enforcement in northwest London arrested 28-year-old Yafit Ascali after he'd been caught stealing from a car in Harlesden. Ascali reportedly denied any wrongdoing, but his guilt became undeniable when the police shined an ultraviolet black light on his face and found that it had a bright green hue. Leading up to the summer of 2013, law enforcement in the London borough of Brent had begun using smart water systems on vulnerable houses and cars as both a deterrent to thieves and as a trap to catch them if they decided to strike. When an individual tampered with the property, the system detected them, sprayed them in a fine mist of a chemical mixture and sent an alert to the police. The mixture was odorless, invisible to the naked eye, and extremely difficult to wash off, as it had the potential of remaining on surfaces for weeks. It became bright green under UV light, thus definitively tying a suspect to a crime. Ascali had targeted a booby-trapped car set up by law enforcement and stole various items from it, including a laptop. He was detected and sprayed, then tracked down and arrested. In spite of the evidence, Ascali maintained his innocence in court but was found guilty of theft from a motor vehicle and sentenced to 49 hours of community work. Thanks for watching. Would you rather be dumb and rich or a genius making minimum wage? Let us know in the comments section below.